Welcome again. I guess the work of the ARA jewelers has rubbed off on me. I never thought I'd be making stuff like this and thinking a little smaller and these patterns, but I've just written a little script, and I'm going to focus on quite a few scripts now in the 1001 Grasshopper definitions, pretty much staying confined to the maths and into the trig section. There's no reason to leave it. You might notice a little cluster up here, which is actually one of my favorite scripts, and it's not too hard to figure out. We'll jump into it, but basically I love to build a helix, and that's all that script really does. When you go into it, it's basically amplification XYZ, interpolating a curve that takes one, puts it through sine, one puts it through cosine, the other one remains the same. And that's all you have to do, and then you can rotate on pi whatever you want. It's not too hard. I make it all the time, and I'll probably make it again within the script. But once I have those curves made, then we'll just click out of here for a second, and I've got a couple of things rendered here just for fun. We'll stop the turntable, and we'll just take this and put it on invisible. But we've got basically a curve. That's all my favorite script makes is a helix. I'm tired of making it, so I just pull it down and I put in a couple of number sliders, and I can affect the height of that, and I can affect the, I guess you'd call the radius of that, or diameter of that. And then I put it through a rotation. I put it through 10 rotations. Very simple. Put some perpendicular frames on it. They're very, very tiny here, so you have to slow down to look. I'll put it back in shaded. I also can go up when things are very small into displays and say preview plane size and make that maybe 8. And I think you click out like this and it should make it a little bigger, and it did not. I'm always interested in how this actually works. Plane size, when I type it into 8, I think I have to hit enter. There we go. So now you see the plane sizes. And what I did was I put a little triangle on each one. And in putting a triangle on each one, I will bring out my bifocals, so none of these seem. I can control that polygon by basically looking at the polygon sides and looking at the points. I took the points and I interpolated them this way, and I took the polygon sides and built curves between them. So I have this set of curves and this set of curves. I also pulled out my frames, and we'll do that in a minute, come back to it. But I took this curves and this curves, put a surface on each one, did a little solid difference, and there you go. You got some really nice shapes. I simplified the tree. I guess I didn't need to do that, but I do that for purposes that if you pull in here and you see, I believe, maybe it's best to view on exploding the tree. Like if you see what's in that exploded tree, you got these huge branches that only have an item on its second list item there, or whatever you call that. After the simplified tree, that just brings it back down to what the data is essentially, 0, 0, and 0, 1. Those paths, those are actually paths. And in doing so, I then can take those and extrude them. And I extruded them with an amplitude that I can multiply from a vector display that chases all the way back to deconstructing the vector through the plane of the perpendicular frames. And that way I remain true to offsetting related to the planes on each one. So I don't end up, moving everything in the x direction, y direction, or z direction. That always makes for bad geometry. I then took the original generated curves that have been polar arrayed and threw them into a variable pipe. Pipes vary wonderful through a range and through sine curves, so you can actually have a very nice effect on that, thinning it and thickening that. What a great tool. I think this is one of the best ones. And then I've got a few Boolean toggles that'll just cap the ends, and I think I use a Boolean toggle to make this periodic. You see what happens to the whole script of this one if I take off the periodic. It makes it these pointed shapes, but another wonderful tool to think about making. That said, actually I kind of like that one. When you bring it all together and you take it off of that, you've got a really nice piece of geometry, and it's completely adjustable to how many counts you want to do. If you want to change the count of this one and make it 4 in the middle, it'll get thinner around the edges. I actually like it when it's very small, and I won't go down to 2 or 1 because you can have a 2 or 1-sided triangle. And then the array of these I can simplify as well, and it will loosen up how many are on there. Really nice tool. You can fatten it and shorten it. So if you wanted to make these go all the way around and keep them kind of fat, you could stretch this out into its height, and it just takes a little time to load. This way I'm actually making them fatter, and it changes the orientation of what you do on there. And I have not bent or warped or morphed this into any ring form right now, but I can fatten it right down to this kind of weird piece of item or jewelry. I think this will come in pretty handy for the people that have given me so many wonderful scripts and inspired me. And I think what's happening here is what's supposed to happen online. As people go farther into it, you don't know where your design will influence. I enjoy making these. I make them from scratch, and I'm going to play around in here. I basically went through the sine curve. I haven't even gotten this sine seed curve, tangent, arcsine, and arctangent, cosecant, cotangent, and secant. So let's just play off of those before we even get into more interesting work dealing specifically with triangles. I'm not sure what I'm going to do when we get farther into these utilities here, but they're going to jive things up like the polynomials did. Anyhow, I hope that's a exciting little script. I'll definitely bring it up on GitHub. It's my 46 out of 1001, and I have started a Patreon account where I will consult and talk to people more independently and offer more detailed things for this if people are interested. Thank you so much.